You know where his gun is?
I don't give a fuck!
Okay.
He had the world in his hands, the crowd chanting his name, millions in the bank, and a spot next to LeBron James on a team built for glory. But today, Delonte West is barely recognizable. Once a star on the court, now a man drifting between gas stations and jail cells. The same player who dropped double digits against NBA legends is now filmed begging on street corners, lost and broken, a tragic reflection of everything fame forgets. It's a story that feels almost unreal, the rise of a fighter, the fall of a man, and the system that watched him disappear in plain sight. This is not a rumor. This is a documented heartbreak of the sad life Delonte West lives at 42. Before the world mocked his downfall, Delonte West was a name every basketball fan respected. Born in the D.C., Maryland, Virginia area, he wasn't just another kid with a ball. Basketball was his escape. Growing up in neighborhoods where trouble found you faster than opportunity, the court became his safe haven. Every shot, every drill, every late night alone with the ball was his way of fighting back against the chaos waiting outside. For Delonte, the sound of the ball hitting the hardwood wasn't just rhythm. It was survival. At St. Joseph's University, he showed the world he wasn't ordinary. Teaming up with Jameer Nelson, West helped turn a small college program into a powerhouse, taking the team deep into the NCAA tournament and earning national attention. He played with grit, heart, and intelligence, traits that made him stand out even among future NBA stars. Scouts called him the kind of player who left everything on the floor, and the Boston Celtics agreed. In 2004, they drafted him 24th overall, a dream come true for a kid who once had nothing but a basketball and a promise to himself. In Boston, Delonte quickly became known for his work ethic and versatility. He wasn't the loudest voice in the locker room, but he was the one who showed up early and stayed late. His style was simple: defense, energy, and relentless effort. After Boston came Seattle and then Cleveland, where everything changed. Playing alongside LeBron James, he formed one of the league's most dynamic backcourts. He wasn't just another role player, he was a spark. On any given night, he could lock down an opponent, drain a clutch shot, and bring the kind of intensity that coaches dream of. Later, with the Dallas Mavericks, he brought that same fire, joining Dirk Nowitzki and becoming a dependable veteran guard. Across 8 seasons, he averaged 9.7 points and 3.6 assists per game. Solid, consistent numbers that spoke to his dedication more than his ego. Every team he joined respected him for one reason: he gave everything he had. But while fans saw a fearless competitor, something else was quietly unraveling behind the scenes. A different fight, one that no highlight reel could ever capture, and one that would soon consume everything he worked for. In 2008, Delonte West did something few professional athletes had the courage to do. He stood before the world and admitted he was struggling. He revealed that he had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder.
When I first got diagnosed with bipolar,
A condition that brings intense highs, crushing lows, and unpredictable swings in mood and energy. At the time, no one in the NBA was openly talking about mental health. Players were expected to be invincible, machines built for performance, not emotion. Vulnerability was seen as weakness. But Delonte wasn't trying to be brave. He was trying to survive. He called his diagnosis a spiritual journey, a way to make sense of the chaos inside his head. But that storm didn't pause just because he had games to play. The NBA lifestyle, the endless travel, the noise, the expectations, the flashing cameras, magnified every symptom. When Delonte was up, he felt unstoppable, filled with energy and confidence. But when the lows hit, they hit hard, dragging him into long periods of depression that made it difficult to get out of bed, let alone face 2,000 fans. Teammates began noticing changes. Some days he was upbeat and locked in. Other days, he was distant or silent. He even said he became a boogeyman.
after that incident, all of a sudden, I became the boogeyman.
Reports surfaced that he sometimes slept in the locker room or disappeared for stretches of time. Coaches struggled to reach him. Mavericks management suspended him twice in 2012 for what they called conduct detrimental to the team. But behind that cold phrase was a man quietly falling apart. The NBA simply wasn't ready to handle players like Delonte back then. There were no wellness programs, no mental health specialists traveling with teams. Players like him were misunderstood. The public saw anger, not anxiety. They saw erratic behavior, not illness. The league saw a liability, not a human being in crisis. Delonte tried everything he could: medication, therapy, prayer, searching for something that would quiet his racing mind. But even with help, it was hard to stay balanced. The same game that once centered him had become the biggest source of pressure in his life. Every missed shot, every bad headline chipped away at his peace. And when basketball was no longer there to ground him, the fragile balance that kept him standing began to crumble. After leaving the NBA in 2012, Delonte West tried to hold on to the only thing that had ever given his life purpose: basketball. The basketball court had always been his escape, his anchor, and his identity. So when the league doors closed on him, he wasn't ready to walk away. He joined the Texas Legends, the Dallas Mavericks affiliate in the NBA's D-League, hoping that one good season could earn him another shot at the big stage. For a while, it seemed possible. He played hard, focused, and determined to prove that he still belonged among the best. But things didn't go as planned. After a few months, he left for China, signing with the Fujian Sturgeons in the Chinese Basketball Association. The move was meant to be a new beginning, a place where he could rebuild, away from the constant spotlight of the NBA. Yet, the instability followed him. He jumped from team to team, never staying long enough to regain his rhythm. The loneliness of being overseas, the long flights, and the isolation away from family only made his mental health worse. Trying to put a brave face on his struggles, Delonte would joke that he didn't have a disorder. He had mental superpowers. It was his way of masking pain with humor, trying to convince himself that he could still control the chaos inside his head. But the reality was heavier. The constant travel, the uncertainty, and the emotional swings left him drained. When he returned to the Texas Legends in 2015, fans hoped he was finally turning things around. But a few months later, he was released again, and this time, there was no next team waiting. Then came 2016, the year everything changed. A video went viral of Delonte West, barefoot and disoriented, walking the streets of Houston. The man who once played alongside LeBron James and Dirk Nowitzki was now unrecognizable. The internet exploded with speculation. Was he homeless? Was he battling addiction? Was he even safe? Delonte denied parts of it, saying he was fine, but the picture said otherwise. It was heartbreaking. A silent, visual scream that showed how far he had fallen. What fans thought was a bad moment was only the beginning of a much darker chapter that the world was about to witness. In early 2020, the internet witnessed a moment that no basketball fan could ever forget. A shaky cell phone video began circulating online, showing a man sitting in the middle of a Maryland highway. He was shirtless, bruised, and rambling incoherently while another man attacked him. At first, no one wanted to believe what they were seeing, but as the video spread, confirmation came in. The man in that disturbing clip was Delonte West. Within minutes, the footage exploded across every social media platform. It was raw, chaotic, and heartbreaking. In the video, Delonte was barely recognizable. His hair unkempt, his face swollen, his words disjointed. The same man who once shared the court with LeBron James, who once fought for loose balls and knocked down clutch shots, was now sitting helpless in the street as traffic passed by. People shouted, some recorded, others laughed. No one stepped in. Major outlets like ESPN, CNN, Sports Illustrated, and TMZ quickly confirmed his identity. Police later released body cam footage verifying it was indeed the former NBA star. The shock rippled through the sports world. Coaches, players, and fans who once admired Delonte's grit and heart now saw a man completely broken. The headlines were cruel, the comments worse. What should have been a moment of concern turned into another viral spectacle. Fans were split between sorrow and judgment. Some begged the NBA to help him. Others used his pain for jokes and memes. The internet did what it so often does. It turned human tragedy into entertainment. For many, it was easier to laugh than to confront the uncomfortable truth that one of their heroes had lost everything. Inside the basketball community, there was confusion and heartbreak. How did it come to this? How did a man who once guarded legends like Kobe Bryant and Ray Allen end up beaten, barefoot, and incoherent on a highway? This wasn't the Delonte West fans remembered. The fiery guard who hit big shots, who played through injuries, who was respected by teammates and opponents alike. This was someone else, someone overtaken by illness and circumstance. The footage spread faster than any highlight reel he'd ever been in. But this time, there was no crowd cheering, No scoreboard keeping count, no team waiting in the locker room. There was only the world, watching a man's most fragile moment in real time. It was one of the most haunting and humiliating moments in modern sports. Not because of the fight itself, but because it revealed the truth everyone had tried to ignore. Delonte West wasn't just another fallen athlete. He was sick, vulnerable, and desperately in need of help. For many, that viral clip became a wake-up call about how society treats mental health in sports. It sparked conversations about compassion, awareness, and accountability. But for Delonte, it wasn't awareness. It was another scar, another wound broadcast for the world to replay, dissect, and forget. He was no longer seen as a player or even a person, but as a cautionary tale, a face that symbolized the cost of silence and neglect. And once again, Delonte West was left alone, carrying another reminder that fame can vanish overnight, but pain lasts much longer. Just when it seemed like Delonte West's story had reached its lowest point, when the world had all but written him off as another forgotten name in sports history, a surprising act of humanity changed everything. It wasn't a PR stunt or a charity headline. It came from someone who had once signed his paychecks and still believed there was something left to save. Mark Cuban, the billionaire owner of the Dallas Mavericks, saw the heartbreaking footage of his former player on the streets and decided he couldn't stand by any longer. In September 2020, after hearing rumors that Delonte had been spotted panhandling around Dallas,
My dog, Delonte. How you doing, my brother?
Oh, you ain't got food on?
Man.
Cuban personally began searching for him. And when he finally found him, sitting quietly near a gas station, holding a cardboard sign and asking strangers for food, the sight broke him. Cuban didn't send assistance or call for media coverage. He went himself, picked Delonte up, and told him they were going to get help. In that moment, it wasn't owner and player anymore. It was one man rescuing another who had been abandoned by the world. Cuban sent him to a rehabilitation facility in Florida.
You know, we sent him down to Jason's place down in Florida.
Soon, photos surfaced online, images that showed something the public hadn't seen in years. Delonte West smiling again. In one picture, he sat beside his mother, reunited for the first time in a long while. In another, Mark Cuban sat nearby, his hand on Delonte's shoulder. The internet erupted with emotion. People couldn't believe what they were seeing. After years of despair, it looked like Delonte had found his lifeline. At the rehab center, he threw himself into recovery. He attended therapy sessions, worked on rebuilding his mental health, and began opening up about his struggles. For the first time in nearly a decade, he had structure again. Daily routines, meals, and a purpose. His transformation was visible. The same man who had once wandered the streets now started helping others through their own battles. Reports emerged that Delonte had taken a job at the facility, mentoring patients and sharing his story to inspire them to keep fighting. Fans across the country celebrated what looked like a miracle. Headlines called it Delonte West's redemption story. His name, once synonymous with tragedy, was now being linked to hope. In interviews, he spoke softly about his journey, expressing gratitude for Mark Cuban and promising to continue his healing. He smiled again, that same warm, goofy grin fans remembered from his playing days. For a moment, it seemed like everything lost had been restored. But the path to recovery is never straight. Addiction and mental illness are relentless enemies, waiting for any moment of weakness to strike. Even with the best support, one small slip can undo months of progress. The same world that had celebrated his redemption was soon reminded that recovery isn't a finish line. It's a lifelong fight. And for Delonte West, that fight was far from over. By late 2022, the whispers started again. Small sightings here and there. A gas station clerk in Virginia swore he saw Delonte West panhandling near the pumps, looking thin, tired, and distant. A few weeks later, someone else spotted him outside a convenience store, pacing back and forth, muttering to himself, asking strangers for change. Then the photos appeared online, blurry but unmistakable. It was him, the same Delonte West the world had watched get a second chance, now seemingly back where he started. Fans tried to dismiss the rumors, hoping they weren't true. But then came the police reports, confirming what everyone feared. He'd been arrested again, once for public intoxication, another time for disorderly conduct, and another for trying to evade officers. The headlines felt like a cruel echo from the past. The same man who once shared the court with LeBron James, who drained three-pointers and dove for loose balls, was now being identified by a string of mugshots instead of highlight reels. Each photo told the same painful story. The eyes that once burned with focus now looked hollow. His face, once filled with energy, now looked gaunt and weary. Time had not just passed, it had taken something from him. Every arrest, every mugshot, every social media post brought another wave of heartbreak and helplessness from fans who once cheered for him. Then came November 3rd, 2024. Fairfax County Police received a 911 call about a man found unconscious and not breathing near a busy intersection. When officers arrived, they quickly realized who it was: Delonte West. He was still alive, but barely responsive. Officers reported he appeared heavily intoxicated and refused to go to the hospital for treatment. For his own safety, they took him into custody. The mugshot that followed broke the internet. His face was pale, his hair uneven, and his body frail. The man who once looked unshakable on the court now looked lost, not just physically, but spiritually. The photos spread across social media with fans posting messages of disbelief. "How did it get this bad again?" one user wrote. "Didn't Mark Cuban fix this?" others asked. But the painful truth is that recovery isn't something anyone else can fix. You can hand someone a lifeline, but you can't make them hold on. For Delonte, that lifeline had slipped through his fingers again. Every few months, new reports surfaced. Another sighting, another arrest, another video of him looking lost. It became a tragic cycle of relapse and regret, a loop that never seemed to end. The world kept watching, unable to look away, hoping that maybe next time he'd finally find the strength to stop falling. But for now, it just felt like deja vu. The same heartbreak, the same man, and the same story looping endlessly before a crowd that didn't know how to help. At 42, Delonte West's life now feels like a tragic cycle repeating in public. He gets clean, he relapses. He gets help, he disappears. Each time, the videos re-emerge. New footage of him walking along highways, sitting outside convenience stores, or asking for change. Mark Cuban, teammates, and family have all tried to pull him back. But Delonte has reportedly refused consistent treatment, determined to live life on his own terms, even when those terms lead him back to danger. His mother has spoken of her heartbreak, how she can't save her son if he won't save himself. The pattern is unmistakable. A man with unmatched heart, undone not by laziness or ego, but by a mind that turned against him. He's become a symbol of everything wrong with how the sports world handles mental illness once the cameras turn away. There's proof everywhere. Real footage, police records, verified reports. His suffering isn't speculation. It's documented, replayed, and reshared by millions who don't know whether to feel pity or guilt. And yet, even now, there's a spark of that fighter still inside him. The same spirit that took him from rough streets to the NBA still flickers, buried under years of pain. Maybe it's faint, maybe it's fading, but it's there. Because as much as Delonte West's life has become a warning, it's also a plea to take mental health seriously, a plea to stop filming people's pain and start understanding it. His story isn't finished, but for now, it stands as one of the saddest reminders in sports, that talent can open every door, but if the mind behind it breaks, even the brightest future can fade into tragedy. Remember Delonte West, not just the player who fought on the court, but the man still fighting to find peace off it. And just when you think his story can't get any sadder, remember, he's still out there somewhere, walking those same streets, searching for a way home.